a chipped tooth, a hidden AirTag in a diaper bag. And now, a court battle so serious, even grandma's been banned. You think you know DDG and Halle's story? You don't, but by the end of this video, you will. The relationship between rapper DDG and singer-actress Halle Bailey was once the subject of admiration and curiosity, with fans lauding their chemistry and public support for one another. But as with many high-profile relationships, what appeared to be picture-perfect on the outside was, in reality, a complex and tumultuous situation brewing behind the scenes. Now, that simmering tension has erupted into a full-blown public spectacle. One that's dragging not only DDG and Halle but also family members into the harsh glare of internet scrutiny. What began as subtle clues and cryptic social media posts has spiraled into a chaotic unraveling. Speculation turned into confirmation when Halle and DDG's relationship started showing visible cracks. Rumors swirled about infidelity, control issues, and emotional distance allegations that neither party addressed directly, but fans could read between the lines. Then, in late 2023, the couple welcomed a child into the world, something that initially surprised fans who didn't even know Halle was pregnant. While some celebrated the news, others couldn't help but question the timing and the wisdom of bringing a child into a situation that was already rumored to be unstable. For many, the addition of a baby was seen not as a new beginning, but as fuel on a fire that was barely being contained. Whispers of dysfunction behind closed doors grew louder, and social media turned into a battleground for fans, haters, and family members alike. The drama reached a boiling point when DDG's mother, Tanya, entered the fray with comments that not only contradicted Halle's version of events but also painted an entirely different picture of the dynamic between the young parents. Tanya's involvement took everyone by surprise. Up until this point, she had remained largely in the background, offering minimal commentary on her son's relationship. But when she did finally speak, it was with the full force of a mother scorned. In posts and live streams that quickly went viral, Tanya called out Halle directly, implying that the singer was not the innocent, angelic figure she portrayed to the world. According to Tanya, there was far more to the story: allegations of manipulation, emotional distance from DDG's family, and even an attempt to control how DDG presented himself publicly. Fans were left reeling. Some rallied to Halle's defense, claiming she was being unfairly villainized and that Tanya was only defending her son regardless of his behavior. Others, however, began to question whether Halle's good girl image, so carefully curated through her Disney roles and angelic online presence, was more of a performance than reality. To her supporters, Halle has always embodied grace and authenticity. As one half of the musical duo Chloe x Halle and the star of The Little Mermaid, she's been seen as a role model, humble, grounded, and talented. But this controversy has challenged that narrative. Screenshots, deleted tweets, and fan-driven investigations have painted a messier picture. Alleged texts from Halle hinted at frustration and resentment, while DDG posted cryptic messages implying betrayal and public humiliation. What was once subtle has now become a flood of finger-pointing. One of the most shocking aspects of this public fallout is how isolated it drew in outsiders, not just fans, but family members and media figures. The conversation shifted from the couple's internal issues to the broader question of privacy, accountability, and the consequences of turning personal drama into content. Tanya's decision to speak out, while understandable from a protective mother's perspective, only escalated the situation. Instead of calming the waters, she unleashed a wave of scrutiny that neither side seemed prepared for. What's particularly striking is the speed at which the narrative flipped. Halle, once seen as the composed, private figure, was suddenly being accused of using receipts to manipulate public opinion. She allegedly kept evidence of DDG's indiscretions, screenshots of conversations, videos, and notes, all while presenting a calm, forgiving front. This has led some to accuse her of playing a long game, building a case behind the scenes while publicly maintaining a serene image. On the other side, DDG's image has also taken a hit. Known for his YouTube vlogs and somewhat flashy persona, he's often been criticized for clout chasing and oversharing. Yet, in this scenario, some argue that he's the one being outmaneuvered. Halle's silence, when contrasted with his emotional outbursts and Tanya's defensive rants, paints a stark picture. A man and his mother scrambling to protect their image, against a partner who's already calculated her next move. And that's perhaps the most unsettling aspect of this entire saga, the idea that behind the fame, the time, the music, and the fairy tale Instagram photos, this was always a battle for control. Who gets to tell the story? Who gets to be the victim? Who holds the power when the cameras are off and the real-life consequences begin? Critics have raised valid points. Why bring a child into a relationship that was clearly strained? Did either party consider the long-term emotional toll this would take not just on each other, but on their newborn? In a world where image is everything, it seems both DDG and Halle were playing a game of appearances, one that eventually collapsed under its own weight. As the dust settles or continues to stir, depending on what happens next, it's clear that this is more than just celebrity drama. It's a cautionary tale about public personas, digital receipts, and the high cost of turning private matters into public spectacles. The internet has become a courtroom, and both sides are on trial. Whether Halle's image will survive this storm intact remains to be seen. For now, her fans remain divided, some unwavering in their support, others disillusioned by what they see as a calculated unraveling of her partner's life. DDG, too, is facing the consequences of public exposure, with his credibility and maturity being questioned. And as for Tanya, her emergence as a central figure in the drama has added another layer of tension to an already volatile situation. At the end of the day, what started as a seemingly innocent love story has devolved into a messy, emotional saga that continues to play out in real time. And for those watching from the sidelines, the biggest question may not be who's right or wrong, but whether any of this should have been aired out for the world in the first place. Ask ChatGPT. It all started when Halle, through court documents, began painting a picture of dysfunction in DDG's family, even accusing Tanya of enabling toxic patterns and shielding DDG when things allegedly turned violent. Among the most serious claims, that DDG physically assaulted her, chipping her tooth, and that when she sought help, his family turned her away, reportedly telling her to leave baby Halle behind. Halle also accused Tanya of acting as the main caregiver during DDG's visits, essentially covering for her son's absence. Tanya wasn't about to let those claims slide. She took to social media with a not-so-subtle meme. "Hello, Kermit the Frog," with a "Jesus take the wheel" caption, and fans caught the shade instantly. But that was just the beginning. Tanya followed it up with a strong statement, saying she'd stayed silent long enough and that Halle's version of events was far from the truth. In Tanya's words, "The public sees a Hollywood angel, but behind the scenes, Halle has allegedly been stirring the pot while maintaining a perfect image for the cameras." Tanya claimed she's been unfairly targeted and that the constant hate toward her family forced her to speak up, but Halle wasn't backing down either. She clapped back with receipts of her own, including text messages that put Tanya in an uncomfortable light. In one screenshot, Halle was coordinating childcare directly with Tanya, not DDG. Fans immediately questioned why DDG's mother was the one handling all communication about his son, asking, "Where's DDG in all this?" As the screenshots circulated, the public response was swift and skeptical. Many saw it as Tanya overstepping again, taking on responsibilities that DDG should be handling as a father. Tanya responded by accusing Halle of playing the victim and twisting the narrative, insisting that instead of being thanked for stepping up, she was being dragged online. Still, not everyone bought it. Comments flooded social media calling Tanya out, with one user saying, "DDG's mom is a huge part of the problem," and another criticizing her tone since the restraining order drama began. Some even resurfaced an old video of DDG smacking food out of his mom's hand on Liv, and Tanya just laughed it off. That clip came back to haunt her, further fueling criticism that she constantly shields her son. No matter what, that now, the situation is spiraling, not just between DDG and Halle, but between Halle and his entire family. What started as subtle shade has turned into an all-out public reckoning. And the internet, it's watching every moment unfold. What started as innocent giggles has quickly unraveled into something the internet isn't laughing at. A now viral moment where Mom, Tanya, brushed off her son's behavior with a laugh instead of correcting it, had social media raising eyebrows. One comment summed it up bluntly: "This is weird behavior, especially for a black mom. We don't play like that." And that set off a deeper conversation. Is Tanya just a loving mother trying to help her son? Or is she enabling him, shielding him when accountability should have stepped in? Because from what the public can see, DDG hasn't exactly been active on the parenting front. Every time there's a parenting duty or a conflict, Tanya is the one stepping up, not DDG. It's like she's driving the whole co-parenting car while her son's still checking the GPS. And it's not just Halle who's raised. The internet clocked the pattern. Tanya often finds herself as the mouthpiece in her son's relationships, acting as the go-between with their baby mamas, stepping in long before they do. People started asking, why are grown men relying on their mother to handle their parenting responsibilities? It's not about painting Tanya as a villain, but the deeper the receipts go, the more the picture comes into focus. This looks less like tough love and more like a long history of cleaning up their messes. But this time, Tanya didn't hide behind cryptic memes or passive-aggressive quotes. She came out swinging not just with shady posts, but with legal documents. In them, Tanya accused Halle of doing far more than causing drama. She alleged a pattern of stalking and control that stunned the internet. According to Tanya, it started in June 2023. DDG received an AirTag alert on his phone, the kind Apple sends when it detects a tracking device nearby. Sure enough, they found one hidden inside his Maybach. That same night, Halle allegedly appeared at a movie theater where DDG was with another woman, uninvited and furious. Tanya claimed Halle even called her directly in a rage, threatening DDG for creeping behind her back. But the story doesn't stop there. The next day, Tanya, DDG, and Tanya's partner George searched the car and found another AirTag tucked under a seat. They were floored. According to Tanya, this wasn't just a fluke, it became a pattern. Days later, George, while driving DDG's Escalade, started receiving the same AirTag alerts. The car was torn apart, and yet again, another tracker was discovered. 2 weeks later, another ping. Same story. A relentless loop of tracking and discovery. Then came the twist straight out of a thriller. Tanya said the final tracker was found inside a vitamin bottle in the back seat, carefully placed, not dropped. Hidden with intention. But it didn't stop there. In April 2024, Tanya made her most serious claim that a tracker was found inside baby Halo's diaper bag, not just placed in the bag, but hidden underneath the cardboard lining, a deliberate effort to keep it out of sight. Tanya said it felt calculated. Not a coincidence, not a mistake. Fast forward to January 2025, and the mystery deepened. Tanya and George moved into DDG's house to help reorganize and unpack, and allegedly discovered a stash of unused Apple AirTags tucked away in one of DDG's drawers. According to her, these were left behind by Halle, who had been staying there on and off during her pregnancy. Tanya described the whole situation as a tracking mission gone deep. As tensions escalated, Tanya said Halle cut her off completely. No calls, no visits, no connection to baby Halo. Their relationship had turned ice cold. Then came the restraining order. A judge sided with Halle, granting her sole custody of Halo and permission to take him to Italy while filming her next project. Tanya, not included in that plan at all. DDG tried to block the move, pushing to keep Halo from leaving the country, but Halle stood her ground. She told the court she wasn't backing down. I have to be in Italy from June 7th to August 4th, 2025. That's what Halle told the court, and she wasn't just pulling dates out of thin air. This role, it's how she supports herself and baby Halo. And the judge, she agreed. DDG was granted visitation rights. But there was one big condition: only under supervised visits. Now here's where things took a sharp turn. DDG's attorney, Larry Bachman, made a bold request. He wanted Tanya, yes, his mother, to be the one supervising those visits. But Halle wasn't having it. Her lawyer, Jeremy Lane, stood his ground and told Judge Latrice, Birdsong point blank, Tanya is not a neutral party. And honestly, given everything Halle had already accused her of backing DDG's reckless behavior, stepping into conflicts that weren't hers, this wasn't exactly a shock. Her legal team said this is exactly why they filed for sole custody in the first place. The judge agreed again. No Tanya, no grandma passes. Just a licensed professional. Period. And then it got even steer. The court laid out strict rules for DDG's time with Halo, and they weren't playing. Rule number 1. No social media. No posts, no stories, no captions, nothing. That hit hard, especially for someone like DDG, who's built his entire brand on the internet. But it didn't stop there. DDG's team tried to act ready, claimed they had a supervisor lined up. But when asked who it was, they named a therapist, not a court-appointed monitor. Not a trained visitation supervisor. A mental health professional completely outside the court's requirements. Meanwhile, Halle's team came in like a full-blown security agency. They'd already looped in the Italian authorities, hired private security, and even brought in detectives to ensure every visit was airtight. No slip-ups, no funny business. Everything on record. DDG's lawyers tried to question the overkill. Why all the surveillance? But the judge wasn't playing. She pulled out the protective filings, legal receipts, and laid out exactly why these strict conditions existed in the first place. Then Halle's team made an offer. Her nanny and personal security would supervise all visits. Of course, DDG's side pushed back again, this time saying that if the nanny is supervising, she shouldn't be allowed to testify in future court hearings. And surprisingly, the judge agreed. The nanny can supervise, but she's off the witness stand. No dual roles. And here came the real bombshell. Halle's lawyer revealed that the nanny is afraid to be left alone with DDG. Let that sink in. Suddenly, all the extra layers of protection made sense. This wasn't about drama, it was about safety. About making sure everyone felt protected during visits. So the court locked it all in. Every visit in Italy, supervised by professional staff, nanny present, private security on site. Tanya, social media, no exceptions. It's less like a co-parenting arrangement, more like a lockdown protocol. And Tanya, she wasn't going down quietly. The minute the judge made the final ruling, Tanya clapped back online. She insisted she was more than capable of being a chaperone and slammed Halle for doing the most to keep her away from her grandson. But online, sympathy wasn't exactly rolling in. The comments came in hot, unfiltered, unrelenting. You should have checked your son's actions before it got to this. You knew he had issues. But you turned a blind eye. Being a mom doesn't mean defending everything, especially when your son is hurting people. He put hands on that girl in front of your grandson, and you still tried to cover for him. That's not love. That's enabling. And then this one hit hardest. They don't just hand out restraining orders for nothing. Stop acting like this is normal. So now, the internet is split. Some are riding with Tanya, saying she's just being a loyal mom doing what mothers do, protecting their children no matter what. But others, they're standing with Halle, finally seeing someone put boundaries in place and break a cycle that's been silently festering for years. From AirTag allegations to courtroom drama, security teams, and social media bans, it's clear this custody case is about way more than just visitation. It's about accountability. It's about control. And it's about who gets to protect baby Halle, and how. So now we ask, is Halle overdoing it? Or is she finally protecting her peace and her son from a pattern that should have been stopped a long time ago? Let us know where you stand. Is Tanya misunderstood, or is this a wake-up call that was long overdue? Drop a comment, like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that social media won't let slide. Stay locked in, because this tea, it's only getting hotter. I'll catch you on the next one, my stars and hushers. You know we always keep it real right here at Star Hush. Like, comment, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a drop, because over here, we don't spill tea, we pour truth. Until next time, stay shining, stay hushin', stay woke.